Hello, everybody. This is new for me, live at 5 in California. It's Jennifer Hart. Welcome, welcome. If you are new here, hello. Nice to meet you or meet you because it's a one way at this point. And if you're back, hello. Thanks for coming back again. I am Jennifer Hart. I'm a connector and I connect people who are on their spiritual path or people who are just seeking change and growth in their lives to the other people, practitioners, info, events, and resources that they might need to help guide and support them along the way. And today I'm super excited because we have a super awesome guest. Her name is Liz Silva. She is an Ascension guide, and we're going to roll without an agenda today. We're just going to have a conversation and see what comes up. She has amazing gifts. Like, you're going to see it in action. I love always chatting with her. There's always so many great things that always come out. Sometimes there's lessons to be learned. Sometimes there's just funny guides that are hanging out. But let me tell you a little bit about her. So Liz is, in short, an Ascension guide, and she helps people to find their self-expression as a spiritual being living in a human experience. Many of her clients are on their spiritual journey and have experienced a significant amount of trauma. Haven't we all? I think so. Her goal is to build a safe space where you can feel accepted and supported regardless of what hand you were dealt. I love this. Oftentimes we have to do the work our parents didn't do, but we don't have to do it alone. She is a coach, and her coaching program is designed to help you remove blocks to achieve your goals and live the life that you want versus the one that you were programmed to accept. She helps her clients get down to the root of things so that they can spend time where it matters most on living a beautiful, authentic life. It is the heart of everything that she does. I absolutely love that. Liz, that is beautiful. And I feel like it doesn't do you justice, like with the gifts and abilities that you have. So we're going to talk about that because that's one of my favorite things. Anytime I talk to you, I just love that you're always having these side conversations. Like someone's really there, but it's not. It's just your guides that are hanging out and like, hey, what's up?
It's the voices in my head. That's
It really is. Because every time like that I chat with you, you're always like, and you're like, okay, hold on. They're talking to me. But it's so freaking cool because for me, I'm claircognizant. So if you don't know what that is, it's my intuition comes as just knowing things. So it's always been a journey that I'm on to help to decipher. And it's like they just talk to you like it's you and I talking, which I think is just so cool. It's like very clear. I think that'd be like clear audience, right? That you hear them. So, okay, let's talk about, well, first, I always like to talk about how we met. So Liz and I met, we were doing, I think Melissa and I were doing a clubhouse room, and you popped in and you got on and you had some messages come through for someone who had shared something, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa, like, I need to connect with this girl. That's what I do. I connect people to like might need her as a coach or something. And so we messaged and you had some really cool messages and insights. And then we connected after that. And I was like, you're amazing. Like the world needs what you have to offer. And yeah, do you have anything to add to that? Just in case.
Yeah, it's so funny. I remember it was the NLP room.
It was the NLP room. And I didn't know until I asked you recently that you actually have trained in NLP.
Yeah, so. And it was. I think it was a woman about. There's a lot of stuff coming up around the daughter going to college, some anxiety.
Oh yes, I remember exactly. It's my friend. Yes, I remember her daughter going to college, and she was really concerned about it. Yes, and then we found some ties of trauma that had happened. So tell me, and anyone who's watching, hello, say hi. Tell us how your gifts work, like what some of your abilities are.
Yeah, so the best way I try to explain it to people is you experience trauma, and when I'm helping you navigate that, I can see, feel, hear, basically have the same experience you had while you were experiencing the trauma, right? But I don't get too attached, but I can see it almost as a bystander. And then we can help decipher exactly what went on and how we can move through that. And then I use that gift sometimes when I'm spiritual mentoring to help people really figure out what their gift is, which is my favorite part. because it's like seeing somebody step into their gifts, and it's like, oh, this is really cool, and we can use it in this way, and this is how it's going to grow. So really, it's kind of just using the clairs to get a full picture of the situation.
And you told me before you always used your hands as like you could see all the bodies, right? Like the
Yeah,
mental, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and the energetic, I think. 5 of them, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's all these different bodies, and it's funny because I was just working with somebody today, and she explained the best, and I didn't think about it like this, but she goes, "You're a spiritual doctor because you work with the spirit, and whether it's moving trauma, whether it's aligning people to their true self, right? That's the area that you work in, and you tweak and you move and you whisper and you get the things in place." So I really like that explanation.
I
But
like it too. And it's really true. It is what you do. Like you've helped me. We've had some sessions and you've helped me to identify things that were holding me back or that needed to be cleared, or I got homework of things that I needed to do. I have lots of Lizisms that I remember, things like little, analogies that you've given me about stuff that I still reference and use to this day that have been super helpful. So it is like you give little prescriptions of Lizisms like out.
sometimes it's really small. People think that it's like, oh, I'm stuck, and it must be this big thing, right? And sometimes it's just a little tweak.
Yeah.
Uh, like fold. I don't know who this is for, but it's for somebody. Like, you wash your clothes, and then the next action should be to fold them and put them away. And for us as humans, we don't see that as a big thing, right? But it has to do with how am I taking care of what I've been given, right?
Mhm.
And if I'm not taking care of the small things that I've been given, then I'm definitely not taking care of that on a bigger scale, right? So maybe the finances aren't coming in, and you're trying to figure out why it's stuck, and it's like you've been given a small thing to take care of, and you're not taking care of it properly, right?
Yeah.
And so when sometimes I'll tell people, I'm like, oh, well, this is what you have to do, and they think it's going to be this big, you know, uh, life-changing thing, and it's just really subtle sometimes.
That's very true. I mean, because when we hear the word trauma, we tend to think like war, soldier, or some type of extreme sexual assault. But trauma can be something very little too, right?
So trauma is really about what happens in you when you experience something, right? And sometimes trauma can have a what we would perceive as a good belief, and it's great, and it was a great coping mechanism for our whole life, and then we turn 32 and it's like, okay, well, you can't use that coping mechanism anymore, we need you to let it go, right?
Yeah.
So let's say somebody learned how to be very frugal, and that's gotten them to a certain point, they've saved, they've been really good, stayed out of debt, and then it's like, well, in this next area in life that you're meant to go to, we want to give you abundance, but your frugalness is an exact opposite match of what you're trying to bring in, right?
Mhm.
So that trauma sometimes can actually be something that has appeared to be a good trait.
Oh my gosh, that's such a great topic for me. So my frugalness is also a scarcity mindset. It's like worrying that there's not going to be enough. And I've really been aware and practicing that for myself. Like my sunglasses broke. I needed new sunglasses. So you should just get like a $10 pair at the, CVS or whatever. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get a little bit more expensive pair and I'm going to do something nice. And when I went to go try on sunglasses, I saw myself always looking at the price. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, well, I should get these ones because they're cheaper. And, it's like, I'm sure there's something that's happened in my past that is there. And I see it with food. I see it in all aspects of my life. And so just when you said that, that made me think of that.
And then you rebound, right? So that's what happens. It's like we've utilized all of our willpower to kind of keep budget, keep budget, keep budget, and then we rebound and we have this excess or this binge um, spending or binge eating or whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
It just becomes we do it in excess now because we've been utilizing our willpower that whole time.
Yeah, the willpower. I've learned a lot about that. So I see we have some people watching. So if there's any people on here who have questions, so Liz really focuses on healers who have businesses. And any type of businesses, but mostly healers who help also healers, because it has such a huge ripple effect. So to be able to help one person, that's helping a lot of people, helping a lot of people. But if people have questions today, they can drop them in the chat. I'll show them on the screen, and then Liz can see if anything comes through and any answers come. So don't be shy, drop them in there. And in the meantime, I want to talk about, so like, how does working with you and addressing your trauma help people to move their businesses forward? Because in my belief, we all have these gifts that we're given, like that are our special, unique gifts to bring to the world to help other people and to help the world in general. And it's like we're not all living into those gifts, and so we might need some stuff to be cleared out, and or maybe people don't even see it yet. That's a possibility as well.
Yeah. So it's all interconnected, right? And it's not, it might strike somebody's nerve because I already felt it before I said it. Um, a lot of times, the need to succeed in business actually has very little to do with succeeding in business. Um, and so, whether it's proving a point to ourselves, right, that we're worthy, that we have value, or learning, when we were younger, we never quit. So now we never quit, right? Even when we should quit sometimes. Um, and so what I've seen a lot of the times with trauma, healing the trauma is allowing you to align with what is suited for you versus what you think, what your ape mind or whatever, what your mind has decided is the thing that you need
Yeah.
because of its experience, right? And so when we kind of unravel all of that, we realize, well, the root of it is trauma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, of course, people are perfectly aligned in their business, um, but they're not ready to move forward to the next step, right? And so this week, it's funny because the conversation that came up a lot this week was about stewardship, right? Are you taking care of what's already been given to you? So an example I'll give is maybe somebody wants to hit um, six figures in their business, but they haven't managed the 70,000 that they already have properly. And so it's like, well, in order for you to get to the six figures, we need to figure out why you're not managing the 70,000 correctly. Um, yeah, I hope that answered your question.
I think so. I'm just writing that down. I was laughing because I got chills when you were saying that stuff. So I was like, oh, that could have been for me. Sometimes it's like multi messages, right? One message for all the people that are watching. And so what's going to happen is, if you're watching this, some things might come through that are for you, whether you want to share specifically or not, but just be open to the answers. And if it resonates, then maybe it was for you. We have our first question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to do this cool thing that I just am practicing now. There it is. Question. I'm trying to get out of my 3D matrix job into a healing position. I have blocks. How do I know what my blocks are, and what are they?
That's a very broad question. So we'll search for that for a second. Sorry. Um, it's so weird because I'm used to seeing people face to face, like on camera. So I've never done this where it's just a question.
This is exciting. Oh, I love it, because now I'm just pushing people out there, like, let's try new things.
Yeah. So a lot of this has to do with they're talking about passion, right? Trying to find putting all your eggs in one basket, right? So there's almost a need to separate and figure out, well, the 3D job is just here for the money. And let me start doing what I'm passionate about so I can figure out what actually lights me up. And they want me to back up for a second. So it's so funny, this came up for somebody else, Jen, on one of our calls. So we were talking to somebody who thought that them cooking, they didn't see the importance of them cooking for their child, right? But them cooking for their child had such a ripple effect that it was probably one of the most important things that they could do, right? And that reignited the passion in kind of the healing that they had to do for other people, or that they were working with other people on doing. So for you, what the guides are saying is, it's almost like you need to separate for a moment, accept the fact I have this 3D job, yes, I appreciate the money. There's an appreciation and a gratitude that this gives me what I need for right now. And then start looking in the day to day. And they're going back to the kitchen. I don't know why, because I see cleaning. So I think a lot of what you do is the taking care of, right? It's the nurturing. You're very, very, very big on nurturing. And so how can I incorporate that and how I work with people? So I don't know the extent of what you do specifically, but it's almost like when people are doing their healing, they need a safe space. And you provide that safe space. It's almost like a place to relax and breathe and feel held. And they're saying kind of lean into that. But you have to look at what that looks like before you start adding the money to it. Because if not, it's not going to align. And you're always going to do this teeter totter. They're saying that you've been doing. It's like, well, I want to make money and I want to do this. And I'm not really sure. Should I even be charging for what I do, and what should I be charging for this, and this is this what I should be doing, how I should be doing it. Um, I don't know. Did she write back?
Well, no, she just said I wondered how it was going to work because normally we're in person. But I'm like, how do you know that wasn't for me? Because that sounded like all my thoughts.
Yeah. No, it's definitely because when she said healing into a healing position, they kept showing this nurturing aspect that they want her to sit into, right? It's really actually it's a very sweet energy. It's almost like a mother. It's like a spiritual mother, almost.
Well, her mom does live with her. So
Yeah.
maybe that's the nurturing aspect. She's nurturing her mom and she's
Yeah.
a spiritual mother, maybe. I don't know. Tiffany,
Yeah.
you got any feedback on that? Or any
Sorry, the dog is playing in the background.
little puppy? All right, we'll see what she comes up with. So yeah, what I do know, so I can share, she is looking for different things that she's going to jump into in the healing aspect. Like there's different paths and different things she wants to study. So I don't know if that's like what you were saying with the teetering or like maybe it's staying with the job. She wants to be a therapist and QHHT. So those are the two that she's going back and forth.
What was the last part?
It's called QHHT.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it stands for. Quantum hypnotherapy of some sort.
Yeah. I'm not a psychic, but I think those become tools, right? So a lot of times there's a thing that we're great at, and then we start getting these certifications and we go to these courses and we think that maybe it's going to give us a way to find our purpose, and we think that maybe the QHHC is the purpose, right? Or maybe the hypnotherapy is the purpose. But in reality, this dog is.
They always show up when we're on, all the animals.
But in reality, it's your purpose. Once again, that safe space, being able to provide that space where people feel safe to do their healing, really. And then however you choose to express that is really up to you, right? And this is why there's such a separation, because we need to separate the money from, well, what actually drives me.
Yeah. So are you saying that for her gift and her purpose is really to just create the safe space for people to heal and be nurtured, and how she does it, whatever modality she uses, is not necessarily important. It's more so I got chills when I said that. I could see that for her. She's very gifted in that sense. So
Yeah.
that would make a lot of sense. She said she has major issues with feeling confident and successful in money.
Successful and confident on money?
And money. She has major issues with feeling confident and being successful, and then making money too, or with money. I don't know.
So was there a question of kind of why she's stuck?
She feels as though there's a block there.
Yeah.
And she feels like she's blocking her intuition. I know that.
Yeah. So that's where it's so funny, because that's where the mother comes in. Um, this feels like it's a little bit exposing, Tiffany. So I apologize if I go into this. It is going to be a long journey, right? So I'm not sure how long you've been going into this, but um, what it looks like to me is that there's a few things going on. One, there's the purpose, right? And really sitting into what that looks like for you, and then how you're going to choose to express that. So that was the first one, or that's kind of two in one. And then the second one was this, well, how do we even get to the nurturing aspect? How do we feel safe in our true self, especially when we've been kind of I don't know if it's overpowered, overshadowed. Um, there's this very small feeling of it's overpowered, overshadowed. Like if you have to just always listen and not talk, and you're being too loud, and this is not the correct time for you to talk when you're little, right? It happens to a lot of us, but how we choose to take that on as our trauma is very individual to us. Um, this is where this is coming from because I see it and I hear it. um, but it seems very distant for her, right? So I can see it in her energy, but I don't see it clicking so much in the mental space, which to me means if you were going to work with somebody, you may want to work with somebody who does like inner child work. Um, weirdly enough, Melissa may be a good avenue for her, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
Um,
that gave me
but
chills.
it's almost like, yeah, it's bringing it up, right? And being able to have that conversation with your inner child and reconnect again, because the head and the heart, and the head and the soul are very misaligned.
Okay. Yeah, and she's newer to this. She's only started to along the path since September.
Yeah,
So, okay. So the advice is if you're going to work with someone to work through these things, find someone that works with inner child work. And then we personally know Melissa, and she came up as a good fit, which, yes, she's one of my main people. So
yeah,
she creates a very safe space and a very loving and gentle way, also.
yeah.
Tiffany, you got any other questions off of that? Or anyone else? I see there's a couple other people watching. Anyone have a question? Don't be shy. Now that the dog's quiet,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, while we're waiting for some. Oh, we got one. Yes. Hi, Sharon. Okay. Let me show Sharon's question. I'll read it because it doesn't show the whole thing. I've been self-employed for decades. I do well enough, but if I want to make six figures and I shouldn't focus on the money, how do I reconcile the two? I sometimes tend to be generous and lowball my prices to help the clients. Yet I think I feel worthy of money.
um. So
There's
I'm just
two
gonna tell you.
Sharons on here, by the way. So Sharon, this is Sharon Whitefawn.
I'm just gonna tell you what they told me the answer was in the question. So I'm just gonna read it over again because they're saying the answer is in the question. Um, okay. Um, so the first, we'll say that I think I feel worthy of the money, right? Um, I'm gonna be candid just because I do direct channel, so I just say it how they tell me. Um, they're saying you don't, right? Because the clients that you're even going after, you know that they're not a right fit. It's almost like some of them you have to pull teeth. It's like this is the visual that I'm seeing. You're like, come on, do the healing. You can do it. I'll be your cheerleader. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And it's almost like because they don't even appreciate the healing journey. It's a healing journey. No, they don't. Whatever it is that you do, they don't. It's like they don't appreciate. They don't even appreciate it to a certain extent that the money that comes with it is in that same energy, right? It's almost this. I'll give you what I can afford, but I'm not going to give you what I think you're worth, right? Those are the kind of people that you're bringing in. Um, They're saying once you change the mindset around the kind of people that you want to work with or the kind of work that you want to do, then the money comes. So they're saying the work that you want to do. Can you, Sharon, what do you do now?
So Sharon Whitefawn does, she can host retreats. She can, I mean, she's going to answer, but I'll answer while she's typing in. She does yoga. She does sound healings. She does aerial yoga. I'm thinking of all the things of when I went to visit her that we did.
Yeah. I would say, do you do any collaborative? Because what I'm seeing, it's almost like part of what you're meant to do is collaborative work. And that's why it feels weird to say healing, because it's almost like you work with the people who are doing the healing. They're saying collaborative. You have a way of seeing things, right? She has a good eye. Um, so if you think about interior designers, they can see furniture in a room and they know where things should be. They know how things look best and what's the best way to place things for the energy to move in the correct way. So you have this knack to do this with people. They're saying you good eye, right? So and maybe that's why you're not bringing. I have a wellness business. Um, um, maybe that's why it's coming up in that way, because it's like the people that you're working with don't yet appreciate what you bring to the table, right? So it may be even a mismatch in clients. Um, and then they're saying it's definitely a worth thing. Um, sorry, one second. I just need to ground your energy for a second, Sharon. So I know we all have lots of daddy issues, but they're coming up with, like, she wants to talk about money, but they want to bring it back to the father. And then there's just this pressure here that's like, it's almost like needing to purge. And they keep saying she wants to talk about money, but we want to bring it back to the father. We want to bring it back to the father. Um, did she reply back? Sorry, I'm so used to doing the.
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, when you were talking about she has a good eye, a good eye, a good eye, she said yes, and then she said at scene. She hasn't replied back anything yet. And I should have. I'm like, who wants to come on live right now? I'll send you the link. Then you can
Yeah.
face to face. Maybe that would be easier. Because then we have the delay of them having to type stuff to give it. Here we go. My father abandoned our family when I was 5.
Okay. So can we clear that? We can. Sorry, there's something over the crown when you said that, and it affects your gifts, right? Your clairvoyance. So we can clear that now. Um, and they're saying dig into that, right? So that abandonment wound, like, that's the wound that makes you second guess yourself, and it's almost like it excuse my language, but this is how it needs to come out. It fucks with your intuition a bit, and so there's things that you shouldn't take, but you second guess yourself, and there's things that you should be taking. And if we're talking about collaboration or um, business opportunities, just, it's your intuition as a whole. It messes with your intuition, so you're almost like missing out on opportunities because you're in this. They're saying the rat race of the mind, so it's rumination. Because you can't trust yourself. And sorry if I'm going fast, but this happens when people abandon us, right? Because we start thinking, well, I I think I'm good enough, right? I think I'm good enough. I think I'm good, right? Which is exactly how you wrote it, right? I feel like I deserve the money, right? So that there's that. It's almost a mismatch with the mind and the emotions and the true self.
She also added in that she grew up poor and has come a very, in all caps, long way. We must have a little visitor.
I
Kid duties. Kid duties. I love it. Hi, Addie.
Oh, Jen, you did the wrong. You said hi, Addie, and now all of a sudden she's creeping into the.
I love it. Hey, girl. Hey. Sorry about that.
Come on, come in, come in.
Oh, hello, lovely.
Okay,
I like your shirt.
take a look and then let me know. Um, so Sharon, I mean, I hope that does that help, or do you have any more questions about that?
She said trust is definitely, all caps, def, a thing for her.
Yeah, and so I mean, if you think about the kind of work that we do, and this may be a bit heavy, so if I were you, I would just write it down, right? Because we can't process everything on this call in like, 2 minutes. But I would say see how that may play out in the people that we're helping heal, right? If we don't trust ourselves or we've learned that we can't trust other people, then how can we step into our true self, our true purpose that requires us to have almost this like immense faith and not no fear, right? But it's almost like this immense faith. Um, I'm sorry, 1 second. I don't mean to be rude. Yes, you got it. You got it.
This is real life, people. When you got the kids. And they want to be a part of us and what we're doing as well. And so we want to include them and say hello. And the dogs. And I got my cat now. You can see her in the corner right here.
She's just asking about your cat. She likes it.
I just like the top of its head.
The top of her head. She's also a 3-legged cat. Just so you know. I'm trying to think. I'm like, what questions do I have? So who else has questions? We'll finish up with Sharon, but I want to get someone on deck.
All right.
Okay, we're back.
We're refocused. That was sorry, somebody needed to order something off of my phone.
You better check your bill later.
At this exact moment while we were talking about inner child and providing, right? So yes, Sharon, sorry. So what comes up is like, if I don't trust myself, if I don't trust others, if there's a fear there, it's almost like, especially a fear in connection, right? Because it may be temporary. Then how can I fully show up for my clients almost in this very brave way? And then we can feel that we're not showing up to our fullest potential. So then there's this subconscious, or there's this almost like in the background whisper playing. Well, I'm not showing up as my true self, so maybe I don't deserve to make what I know I should be making, right? And then that's the mismatch. But I would say that's like fourth step. The first step would be kind of look at how that abandonment wound may cause you to not necessarily be vulnerable in situations around money.
Okay. Thank you. We have another Sharon with another question. Sharon Q. What is your question? And Sharon White Font, if there's anything else, just type it in the chat. Can you hear my cat eating? Should I mute out? Sharon White Font says, thanks so much. Okay, Sharon Q. That's so funny that there's so many Sharons here today. I love it. She says, I'm in a funk with my wellness business. I'm not sure what my blocks are or why I'm not moving forward. There's her face. If that helps.
It does. There's a lot going on here. Not even related to business. I don't know exactly what you do and if it's related to the body, like
essential oils.
It's essential oils.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
one of the big things, yes.
So I'm gonna say this mainly because of how it's coming in. So I don't know if the work that you do has to do with like physical touch on people's bodies, or if this is related to your body. But there's this pressure. There's this pressure. It's almost like this very condensed emotion. To me, it feels like anxiety. Um, so this is yeah. Okay. So this is coming up as like underlying. I would say the business is probably on pause because there's some internal stuff that you need to work on, and it's almost like we're gonna hold off on this so you have time to work on this, and it's a very suppressed energy. Like I almost feel like I can't breathe, and I want to run, and so I don't know if this is symptoms that you've had. I don't know if you've had the anxiety already, or the feeling of like not feeling like I can breathe already. But what's coming up is like, well, the break was intentional. The break was meant to give you a break so you can start processing the stuff before it becomes bigger. And they're showing like a snowball effect.
So it's like to honor the pause right now and to go inside and maybe take some time to isolate and focus on herself.
Yeah. Thanks, Jen.
I'm just regurgitating what I heard you say. Is like take a pause. Well, and I think of when I got COVID, and I was like, okay, I got the COVID. I'm going to honor the pause, canceled everything on my calendar. And I said, I'm going to take these 10 days and I'm just going to sit in bed and relax and sleep and let my body do what it needs to do and process whatever's coming through. And I wrote down my lessons that I learned. I learned some lessons and stuff. And I don't know. So that's what made me think of when you said that.
Sharing Q, just curious, do you have anxiety? I just want to know if this is you or somebody around you. But do you have anxiety?
I'm like, don't we all?
No, for me, this is it. It doesn't feel. People can get anxious, but this is not that. This is like.
She says, "Gah, okay. I lost both my parents recently and have a sister that's dealing with addiction, and I feel the need to help her."
Okay.
That makes sense.
So, yeah. So I would say this. What Jen was saying, honor the pause. Because my whole energy, there's that emotional, like it's like an emotional purge. And so some people are anxious, but this is not anxious. This is like let's suppress, right? But the fact that I can feel it it's like bubbling underneath the surface, and I want to run and I want to scream and I just want to like whatever I can do to get this energy out of my body. That's the reason why I wanted to bring it up, because hopefully we can process some of this right now, because it's not healthy.
Your BFF chimed in.
Okay.
She says uncertainty.
Yeah. What was that, Christina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, which one? It was Christina.
Yeah.
Sharon Q says, I never would have thought of myself as having anxiety. Yeah, I didn't either. I was mind blown.
Well, I mean, we think of anxiety as almost a spiral, right? But anxiety could be a mental state, and then the coping mechanism seems very calm. So I can't plan, I can't move, because that's what I see. I can't plan, I can't move. I can't plan, I can't move. Right? It's there's this. I feel stuck. Right? I want to go this way and I can't plan. I want to go this way, but I can't move. So I'm here. And so we suppress. And then I want to move and I want to move, but then I suppress. Right? And so it may not come out as traditional anxiety, but I can tell you, Sharon, what it feels like in my energy definitely feels like, if I were your friend, I would say, take the time out, honor the pause, what Jen was saying, and deal with it. Like actually process the emotions, because this doesn't feel healthy to me. It feels actually like ulcer inducing. Not saying that you're going to get an ulcer, but it just feels like the stomach lining feels very thin because of the amount of pressure in my body.
So Sharon Q says, yes, I feel a lot of pressure and I feel stuck. And Christina said, uncertainty of the future conjures suppression.
Yeah. And so I would say know that your business, I mean, the business aspect of things, it's protected, right? But I would really work on, especially the gut. So if you can start doing, they're saying like green juices, like regenerate the biome is what's coming up. To help, because if you think about it, the gut is our energy center, right? That's where all of our energy comes from. And so when we're depleting it, whether it's with worry, whether it's with like running on all cylinders, we're depleting that stomach energy, right? And so I don't know if you've started having stomach problems, but to me it feels very real right now. And so they're saying you need to introduce the green to reset that gut biome.
Any follow-up questions, Sharon Q? Anybody on deck also get ready? Or any other comments, Sharon Q? I didn't know Christina was here, and now I do. Sharon says, thank you. Okay, I'll work on my gut. That's very helpful.
Yep.
Thank you, Sharon, for your question.
And just one quick thing, if you could do, I mean, I don't know if they have them on like YouTube, or there's tapping techniques you could use, right, to kind of relieve the stress in the body, the cortisol, like kind of it's not suppressed, but just kind of put the body back in its neutral state. Tapping would be really good for you because they just had me tapping certain points. So that might also help while you're processing this.
Tapping. I like it. And Christina does tapping too. I thought about her. And when she did the tapping at the event, we were doing the tapping, and we did some tapping when she came on my live as well.
Christina, were you tapping over there? Was that it? Was she tapping? Was that why I kept feeling that?
If she says yes, I just am going to love it even more because it just really goes to show like how connected we are. She said, so Sharon Q says, I have a friend who's been trying to come in to her center to tap.
Yeah.
So I'm resisting it and I don't know why.
What was the last part?
She said, I'm resisting it and I don't know why.
Well, because it doesn't feel safe, right? So if we have been really good at like its coping comes up a lot on this call so far. If our coping mechanism is to suppress, and that's how we can just keep moving forward in life, and we're the strong person and we're the one that people can depend on because we've suppressed, that's a false sense of security, right? And so things like tapping that's going to bring up those emotions, that's unsafe for us, right? It's like, you want me to feel all this emotion, you want me to process all this energy? No, thank you, right? So I would definitely say maybe sit down and have that inner dialogue of, okay, this is my goal. If I am going to do tapping, this is my goal. This is what I want to get out of it, and come into agreement with yourself first before you start doing the tapping. Because if not, it's not going to be a comfortable experience, right? I'm not one to say push past the limit. I think if your body is telling you no, it's telling you no for a reason. But that's just the opportunity for you to kind of have that dialogue with yourself and ask yourself those questions as to like, well, what can we do and how can we feel safe in this?
Sharon replied and said, yep, that's what I do. I stuff it down and I push through.
Yep.
And then Christina replied to your comment earlier, and she said she was holding space for you. And Dan's here, and he says he has the same essential oil tree holder as I do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sharon. She said, thank you so much. Dan, do you have a question about your business or anything? Which really at the end of this day has not been about business at all, which I knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
Or anybody else? Anybody else that's here? We got time for like one more. depending how long that goes, maybe 2. While we're waiting for someone to post, Tiffany wrote me separately, and she keeps seeing this number 537. So I was kind of curious if you had any insight as to like what a 537 means. I don't know. All of a sudden, I hear this vibrating noise.
That's somebody opening their garage.
Nothing on the 537, or you're laughing?
No, I'm laughing, but I don't know how this relates. I'm not really sure how that makes sense. Right?
Just say it, because I know a little bit about this. We talked last night about it, so I'm curious what you're gonna say.
No, when you said 537, it keeps showing me 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. And I don't know how those two numbers correlate, right? And I keep seeing, when I go back to 537, they're showing me 12, 12, 12, 12, like almost on a clock.
Yeah, I don't. Whatever you're saying is giving me major chills, but I don't know how that would correlate either.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll let you know there's information they won't give me because there's a lesson that somebody has to learn, whether it's a lesson of faith, right? Sorry. So when I do these, by the way, this is like I'm hearing something. Usually it's like, if one ear may be past, one ear may be future, kind of a thing. So I did this because there's a lesson tied to it, and I'm not allowed to it's definitely a lesson in faith, they're saying, but I'm not allowed to see what that thing is because it would, negate what she's meant to learn.
Yeah. Okay. I've been had in readings. I've gotten that a lot before. It's like, oh, sorry, can't tell you. It's part of the journey, or you need to get that, and it is there. Christina says, "Is who there is trio 537 encouraging to have faith, Angel?"
Oh, you said so she said encouraging to have faith. That makes sense. It's a lesson of faith, right?
And then she says, as Liz says, faith. That's what I think was coming through for her.
Yeah.
We should have just had her on too. Yeah. Come on up. Anyone else have a question? I know there's a couple people hanging out here still. If not, I mean, I'll have a question. I always have questions. But I just wanted to give the space to other people. I feel very, very guided and supported lately, but I always have questions.
I was just about to tell you, they were saying that they showed this symbol over your heart, and they were saying that she's starting to feel like she's in her purpose, is what they're saying.
Yay! Oh my God, thank you. I've been really working on opening up my heart chakra, because I've been told by a lot of people, I think including you, that, well, you told me I had the moat. I always reference the moat I've built around myself in the heart chakra. So one healer recently, she's like, I can't get in. You're going to have to work on it. So I've been envisioning opening it up. And today I opened it real big. And so that's cool. Thank you. All right. Christina says, I Googled that real time. That's funny. It's very true. I was thinking about Googling it too, but I was like, I'll just wait after. And then I'm going to go be like, what's 1212?
Yeah.
We got a question. Okay. I've been at my business. This is my friend Jen. Hi, Jen. This is my first friend when I moved here. So we've known each other like 35 years. I've been at my business 5+ years and can potentially make more if I leave, but also added stress involved because of past trauma. I'm afraid to, and not sure if it's the right time. And then it must have got cut off because she said a lot, but then it's done.
Yeah. Okay, unpopular opinion, right? When people think that it's like, oh, well, I'm afraid, and then they add time to it, right? That's usually a hint that in no way is coming. It's a message from spirit. Because when it is, you'll know. They're saying she knows, right? When you're meant to do something, sorry. When you're meant to do something, you'll know, and they're reiterating, she knows, right? It's like this inkling, like, I know that I'm gonna do this. I don't really know the outcome of this, but I know that this is what I'm meant to do, right? And they're saying her faith is strong. And so for you, it's like when you're meant to do it, don't get too hard on yourself, right? Even just adding years. Oh, well, I've been in this business for 5 years and I can make more money. Um, when it's time to, and for you, I think it's going to be about shifting the business. It's going to, because they're showing incorporating something, right? Why is this coming? It's coming past it, right? So to me, it just feels like a shift. It's a shift in mindset, it's a shift in focus in the business, right? Like in perspective and in how you think you can make money with the business. Yes. So they're saying, but when the time is right, you'll know, right? It's actually not necessarily about fear. The fear is coming up that I'm not doing the right thing at the right time and I'm gonna miss out. She has a fear of doing the right thing. They're saying it comes from your mom, right? It's so they're saying that fear is a fear of doing the right thing. The time is for you specifically, and they're showing a very open road, which to me means like it's blessed, like your path is very blessed. um, Time isn't the issue here, so I wouldn't say, and I know as entrepreneurs we're like, well, we want things and we're going to be broke and we're going to live under a bridge and whatever whatever thing that we could try to say is like this reasoning to like do better and make more money. um and they're saying faith again, faith, faith, faith. She has faith, like big faith, big faith, right? So they're saying just trust, right? With that faith, just trust that when you know, you'll know, right? You'll see the person, you're like, oh, this is somebody I'm meant to collaborate with. And working with that person, then you start shifting your idea of how you make money. And I think that's why this there's a lot of unknown around what it's going to be, because you don't even have the perspective yet to be able to see the thing that you're meant to do. Does that help?
Jen, does that help? She said she has very strong faith, and I know that she has very strong faith. So that's very spot on. I love when you're like, strong faith. But let me ask you this, though. So aren't we supposed to, with faith, jump without having a parachute? Like,
Yeah, but we're not single dimensional beings, right? And so there's going to be a season when we're in faith. There's going to be a season when we're in action. There's going to be a season when we're in change, right? And so I think we have to honor those moments, right? And I think that's a lot of where like Instagram or like popular spiritual advice comes from, where it's almost like this one size fits all, and not understanding it's just a perspective of where somebody is at the moment, right? And so I'll give you a bit of a backstory. So I moved. In my frugalness, I wanted to buy used furniture, and I was told I was not allowed to bring anything used in my apartment. And I didn't listen.
because why would you?
I didn't listen. I got the thing, and they told me, they said, you didn't listen and you're still going to do it again after this, right? I got into trouble with the thing that I brought that was used, and then I still went to go do it. The other day, I caught myself about to get a used TV stand, and they were like, we literally told you that you were going to do this thing, and you said no, and here you are doing this thing, right? And so, but the energy that I'm in right now is I'm not allowed to bring in used items, right? It's not to say that I'm always going to be there, but I think part of being aligned with your true self and who you are and where you are is figuring out, does this step feel aligned? If it doesn't, then I don't do it, right? And then I take the next step, and does this step feel aligned, right? Sometimes, Christina and I were talking about this today. Sometimes you may feel the need to be petty, and that is what's being required of you at that moment, right? Stand up for yourself. And then other moments, that's not the lesson, right? The lesson is, well, how can I have grace in this situation? Um, so yeah, I think a lot of it is just, okay, are they asking me to have extreme faith and jump? Or are they asking me to have extreme faith and wait?
That's real good. Real good. Thank you. Perfect answer to that. Jen said, yes, that you answered her question, and thank you for that.
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone that submitted questions and was brave enough to put yourself out here. And hopefully people got some good answers and guidance today. And we're moving and shifting and helping people to be on their path and just be supported. And I have Liz's website. It's in the captions, not her captions, they're my captions. And if you want to connect with her, she does have her packages and her sessions available up there. Sharon Q says, that was wonderful. Thank you. And thank you to Liz.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks I didn't realize that you've never done it like that before. Otherwise I would have set up some people to come on. I have a list now that I can reach out to and say, who wants to come on? And then have people come on. Jen said, so good.
It's probably good we did it that way. If not, it would have been a 2-hour call, right? Because I would have been like, oh wait, and I see this and this and this.
That's true, because whenever Liz and I were like, let's just talk on the phone real quick. Like I got a message and then it's like 2 hours later. I'm like, okay. And then it's like 20 messages later, but always good stuff. Such a great spiritual mentor and coach. Highly recommend if you're looking for one, check her out, see if it's a good fit for you. She's been on isolation, so she's just coming back and it's a gift to the world. That's the best thing I can always describe. Like what you do for people and how you do it is so amazing. So thanks for making time for us today and coming on and answering everybody's questions. And do you have anything to add before I sign us off for the night?
I don't. Thank you. Thank you for creating the space, Jen. I appreciate it.
Yes, always. And thanks for my little message. I'm going to leave with a smile today. So, all right, everyone, have an amazing night. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.